3D is a major new feature added in WATCHOUT version 6. So let's start taking a closer look at how it works and how you can bring 3D content into WATCHOUT. Let's start by bringing in a piece of 3D media and see how that is done. I have a folder here with a couple of images in. This is just a simple sphere, and this is a still image. So I can just take these and drag them straight into WATCHOUT like you do with any other piece of media, and they go into the media window, or you can of course drag them straight onto the timeline or into the stage window, just as you have been able to in the past. So the way you use this 3D media is similar to how you use a regular still image. For example, if I would drag this still image on here, you'll see it just shows up. So in the same way, I can drag in this 3D object, and you can see that it appears now up here in the stage window. Let's zoom out a little bit here, Control Shift click, and you can see it's here. Let's zoom out a bit further. You can see there's a box around it. You can see its shape is a little weird, and it looks more like a circle. But if you look at it from the top with Control Shift T here, you can see that it is indeed a circle. I spin back to the front view again. Okay, so why does it look weird when you come up here with it? That's actually because of the position of the vanishing point in WATCHOUT. So the vanishing point is probably somewhere around here, which is where it looks normal, and that's what determines the perspective. And if you move it off to the side, you get a different perspective, and that's why you get that kind of a distortion. So if you have just a single display, you should put the vanishing point in the center of that display. For 2D content, that doesn't really make any difference unless you rotate it along the X or the Y axis so it moves off the Z plane. But for 3D content, which typically always moves off the Z plane, that does make a difference. So let's fix that to begin with. We go to Preferences here and go to 3D, and here you can specify the position of the vanishing point. You also see the vanishing point here. So let's do something like 800, 500. Well, that's good enough. So let's put the sphere here, just smack in the middle of that display, and it still just looks like a white circle. So to actually give it some features, to give it some texture, what we need to do is place some kind of media, some kind of imagery onto this 3D object. And let me take this still image that we have here, and when you drag that to apply it as a texture on a 3D object, you don't drag it to the timeline, you don't drag it to the queue, you have to drag it to the 3D object in the stage window. And furthermore, that object has to be selected. You can see by the purple outline here and the outline of the queue itself that the queue is indeed selected. So I can now take this and just drop this onto the sphere here, and now you can see it appearing in the stage window here. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Now if we want to see that this is indeed a three-dimensional object, we can add a little rotation to the queue. So let's rotate along the y-axis. The y-axis is going this way, and the x-axis is going that way. So if you rotate around an axis going this way, the Earth will spin in the normal way. So let's put a tween point here and another tween point maybe over here. Okay, so you can see it rotating over there, and if I now go back and you just run that part of the timeline, you can see it rotating. If I deselect that, you get rid of that selection cube there. So that is in essence how you bring in a piece of 3D geometry into WATCHOUT, how you texture it, and how you make it appear as part of your presentation.